Hello and welcome to the Therapy by Craft YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. I am the maker behind this channel where I like to talk about yarny things, mostly knitting, mostly socks. Today I have some finished objects to share with you as well as November stats. I'm like barely hanging on right now in terms of organization. I feel like I'm just scattered and all over the place. I have minimal notes, but we're gonna do the best we can, okay? I really wanted to come on today because I think this is gonna be my last video for the year. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's gonna be the last one, but I wanted to do a giveaway before the year's end. It's just been, I don't know, it's just been a really big year. Is that what I mean? Like, it's just been a lot. Like, this year's been a lot. And I feel like you guys have been so kind to me and so, I don't know, receptive of the way I've shown up in this space. And I appreciate that in a way that words cannot describe. So I want to give back to you. And we had the Socal Fiber Festival at the tail end of November, and there were a couple of things that I picked up. It's not that big, y'all. It's really not. But I wanted to do a giveaway. So that's why I'm coming on here today. We're going to do the best we can and just go with the flow. It might be a bit chaotic, but I think you guys are used to that. So let's just jump to it. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Therapy by Craft. Most of the things that I talk about today will be linked down below. Like, there'll be a project page, or maybe I'll just do one link with all of my projects and you can just like go in and take a look at what I've been doing. Because like I said, my energy has just been super chaotic. I've been all over the place and my projects are showing it. Like, it's really showing up in my projects right now. So that might just be easier for you guys to have one place that you can go to where you can look up all this stuff. But I do want to have a little bit of organization. So here's what I'm planning. We'll do like my November stats first. Then we'll go into the things I finished since the last time we spoke. A lot of the things I don't have with me to show. So I'll just put a picture and we'll just call it a day. And then I will show you the million things I have on my needles right now. And then I'll talk about some yarn that I've procured at the Socal Fiber Festival. And then we'll call it a day. I hope you have a drink. I hope you have a project or that you're doing something. I have coffee because I need something like warm. Right now there's like a tickle in my throat that I can't seem to shake off. So let's see how it goes. Okay, let's start with November stats. In the month of November, I finished 6 projects. 4 of them were socks. 1 of them was leg warmers for my daughter. 1 of them was a blanket, which I am planning to share with you. It's like right there. Can you see it? It's like right here. 2 of them were gifts and 4 of them were for me. So that was really fun. I see that I wrote down all of the grams, but I didn't do any of the calculations for it. But I'm just like averaging things up here. And I think I used about 1,500 grams of yarn. Yeah, in the month of November. It's because of the blanket. The blanket was like 1,261 grams. So that was the majority of it. But the other things altogether, I think it was around like 1,500 grams. So that was nice. Yeah. So since the last time I saw you guys, I have 4 finished objects to show you. Ooh, one of them I actually have. So I will be right back. Hold on. Okay, hi, I'm back. When I say one of them, I mean one of the socks. 3 of them are socks, 1 of them are blankets. What? 3 of them are socks, 1 of them is a blanket. This is the only pair of socks I finished for myself in the month of November. They're my chunky cuff socks. Yay! They're done, and I've worn them so many times. And maybe that's good. You can see like how they've sort of stretched out a bit. But for the most part, it's holding their shape pretty good. I really, really like the cuffs. It's like the perfect length also for when I wear them and I wear my boots, because the cuffs will peek out, but it's not hidden under my pant leg. So I'm really happy with the length of my leg. So for this, I used a US 1 Chalgu red lace 32-inch needles to do all of my socks on magic loop. I did, I think, 5, 10, 15, 25 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff. And then I think I did 40 rounds for the leg instead of my usual 50 to 60 rounds for the leg. I did a shadow wrap heel, and yeah, that's what that looks like, my shadow wrap heel. I think I did like 60 rounds for the foot before decreasing for the toe. This I started November 3rd and I finished November 21st. This made number 46, pair 46 for the year. And you can see that they are fraternal, they're not identical. I just used the same 5 colors for the cuffs, but like mixed the order, like rearranged the color order. And I really like it. I think you guys really like this too. The yarn I used for the majority of the sock is a Simply Sock Yarn Co. birthday. It was like a birthday celebration yarn. That's part of their birthday club yarn. And I love that the colors matched up so nicely with these minis. These minis are from Dusty Yarn Co. But yeah, that's number 46. Sock number 47 and number 48 are socks that I made for my daughter Sam. 47 is her zebra Christmassy socks, which I will just post a picture of here. Her socks, I also use US 1. I used the Rye sock pattern. It's by Tin Can Knits, and that pattern is great for so many reasons. 1, it's free. 2, they have so many sizes, and most of the time I feel like sock patterns have like a 56 count, a 56 stitch count size, a 64 stitch count size, and a 72 stitch count size. But the Rye socks one, she has like all these other sizes as well, which I really appreciate, because 56 stitches is still too big for Sam. So I have to do like a 52, but I get tripped up on the heel flap and gusset portion because the numbers that I have memorized in my head, it doesn't really work for a 52 stitch count. But the Rye socks, it's great. It allows for that. It also comes in different sizes, different weights of yarn too. So there's like a fingering weight version. I think there's like a DK and a worsted weight version of the pattern as well. So again, regardless of what weight of yarn you have, if you are interested in doing like a heel flap and gusset, yes, there's a bit of a pattern. There's like a garter ridge that goes up the front of the sock, but you don't have to do that. And I didn't do that. I just omitted that part. I did the whole sock straight stockinette. I said stockinette. Oh, that was cute. No, stockinette in straight stockinette. And I just used her numbers for the 52 stitch count for Sam's sock. I did 15 rounds or 12 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff, 30 rounds for the leg. I used her numbers to do a heel flap and gusset, and including the gusset and the foot, it was 50 rounds total before I started decreasing for the toe. And right now Sam wears a toddler size 10, or that's the size I'm making her socks for, because she's like grown so fast, and Yeah, I think the toddler size 8 is what I was making, and I feel like I skipped toddler size 9, and now I'm making toddler size 10. But anyway, those are the numbers that I used, and that formula is the same formula that I used for her other pair of socks, which is the Nutcracker socks, pair number 48 for the year. This one was using the West Yorkshire Spinners Nutcracker colorway, and their sparkle base, like their little, I don't know, yeah, with their stellina. And then for the heel and the cuff, I used West Yorkshire Spinners solid colorway. I think it's called Butterscotch. And I liked doing that so that the patterning on the sock wouldn't, I don't know, it wouldn't mess up the patterning on the sock too much. For the zebra Christmas socks, I started those on November 22nd and finished those on December 4th. And then the Nutcracker socks, I started November 23rd and finished those on December 6th. So those were on my needles for a little bit, but yeah, it's just been a little sluggish, my knitting. And really, a lot of my knitting time in November was taken up by my jelly roll blanket that I finished. Let me show you. Ta-da! Ooh. Oh, that's the back part. This is my jelly roll blanket. There's no way you're gonna be able to see this whole thing. But look! Yay! It's like, can I at least show you the width? Oh yeah, it's like my wingspan. What is that? I don't know. This is the jelly roll blanket. It's a DK weight version by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I think that's right. The pattern, I think, is originally written for a fingering weight, but there's a modification in there now for the DK weight version. I was very much inspired by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady when she was making the jelly roll blanket many years ago. And so I started off by using her modifications, but then I changed it up a little bit so that the edges here are in like a twisted V. Not sure if that will show up very clearly, but when I first started it, I noticed that one side was twisted and one side wasn't. It seemed like this side, the white here, it was not a twisted knit stitch, but then for whatever reason, when I picked up on this side, it was. So I didn't like that. I wanted both sides to be identical. So then as I was working on it, I made some modifications so that both sides would be twisted. So I don't know if you can tell here, like the marled purple and then the red, like they both look like a twisted stitch. You can look on my Ravelry page for the details of that. I made sure to write out exactly what I did. So like I said, this is a DK weight blanket. To answer some questions, yes, there's some mixed yarns in here, meaning some of these are DK weight yarns held single, and then some of these are fingering weight held double with itself. So I allowed myself to do both of those because I really did want to use up a lot of my scraps. I talk about this in my Blankets in the Summer episode, which I'll link. But I really had a mental block with this blanket initially. I started this April 3rd of 2023, and I was working on it for a bit, and I just didn't want to work on it anymore. And the problem that I was having is that I kept tripping up over when I should stop each color, like how long or how much do I do of each color, and it was starting to stress me out more than anything. So how I solved that problem was to wind up all of my DK scraps or even my fingering weight scraps that I wanted to put into here into 10 gram balls, anywhere between like maybe 7 grams to I think maybe even 15 grams. But whatever leftover I had, I just divided it up in a way that made sense so that each ball was anywhere between 7 to 15 grams. And when I did that, it made it so much easier to pick up this project, because then I wasn't thinking, oh, when should I stop? When should I start the next color? Like, when do I need to stop this color? And the management of the yarn was sort of out of my head now. So that made it, like, that made all the difference in getting this done. What else? Oh, I used double pointed needles for this, and then still put needle stoppers on the end. So, like this. I had like a set of, I think it was like Susan Bates double pointed needles. And I didn't want to use circular needles, and I also didn't want to purchase, I think people use like the signature straights. They're not even available anymore, but I really didn't want to purchase another set of needles. So I used my Susan Bates one and put needle stoppers at the end of both. This is a US 6, I think, 4mm needle. And it worked out nicely. I love the drape. I like the fabric that it produced. I like the gauge. So much so that I started another one. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, that's what I did. It ended up being like 14 rows across, I think. Yeah, I was gonna do 15, but it was gonna be a weird proportion if I did it like that. So I stopped at 14 and it was fine. And for the I-cord border, I want to share with you what I did, because it was a conundrum for me for a little bit, and I think and I hope that this information will be helpful for you. I used the same size needle, the US 6 4mm needle, and I picked up every stitch, every single one, and it was fine. I think because of the garterness of it, like it's kind of stretchy, and when I washed it, I did soak the whole thing. I spun it in my washing machine and I laid it flat to dry. But when I did that, it kind of lengthened it, and the I-cord provided the structure that I really hoped that it would. Over on the top portion too, there's just enough stretch. I don't know, I feel like it's the perfect gauge, what I was able to get. Same size needle, I picked up every single stitch. I didn't have to worry about like picking up 3 stitches for every 4. Some people were mentioning that, and I didn't want to think about it. I just wanted to go, go, go. So that's what I did. I used a different kind of I-cord than what Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady used. She has a tutorial for how to add an I-cord border to, for her tutorial, it was like the Coziest Memories blanket. But I watched that and was trying to use that in order to do this, but it wasn't working for me. So what I ended up doing was I did a 3-stitch I-cord border, and instead of doing the like yarn over, there's like a way to do it where you do a yarn over. I hated that. So I think I just did like, I knit all the stitches, I knit 3 stitches, and then I picked up the 4th stitch, and then I moved the needle, and then I knit 2, knit 2 together, and then picked up that 4th stitch, and then I slid the needle, and then I did that again. So I knit 2 stitches, knit 2 together, and then I picked up the 4th stitch. And so that's the method that I used to do the I-cord border, and it was just so much easier. It was so much easier, because then I wasn't worrying about doing yarn overs and, you know, stuff like that. I would much rather do a knit together than to do like a knit and then pulling the previous stitch over the new stitch. I don't know. That's how I did it, and it worked out great. I love the finished result. I used Sorella's yarn for the border. I forget what it's called. is it called the Met? I think it might be called the Met, but it was perfect. It's like a slightly variegated gray, and I think I used about 50 grams. The last time I shared this, I was like, oh, I have like 4 skeins of this just in case. There was no way I needed 4 skeins. I literally just needed like half a skein. Like 50 grams is plenty to finish the I-cord border. And that's great to know because for my next blanket, I will have a more realistic understanding of what I need to finish it out. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say? Yes. The color changes. I think people do the color changes on this blanket differently, but I just switched the colors without caring at all whether it was on the right side or the wrong side. And I wove my ends in as I went. And the way that I did that was to do, I think it's called a weft. Is it like a weft something something? But you basically interlock the yarn together so that as you're knitting it, there's a section where you're basically knitting like twice the thickness of the yarn that you're working with. I wonder if I can demonstrate to you with some scraps. Hold on. Okay, so I have some scraps here. And what's great about holding like a fingering weight yarn together with itself is that you end up with a little like loop at the end. I pulled one from the inside and one from the outside, and as I work, you end up with this like loop, right? So what I did was I just took the new yarn that I was going to use and just hooked it through like this and started knitting, and then I just dropped a set of like the tail or whatever. I just dropped it after working about, I don't know, 5 to 8 stitches. And then I continued working with whatever ball I had next. And that made it so that I didn't have to weave in any ends at the end of my project. After I blocked it, I just went and just snip, and it worked out great. It was fabulous. For my DK strands, I did something similar. I took, like, let's pretend this is a DK strand and this is my next DK strand. What I did is once I had about this much remaining, I just hooked it with my next yarn so that I was holding the DK double for a little bit and then the next yarn double for a little bit. And I just worked it, work. And then I dropped the tails after a little bit and that was it. The ends were woven in. I think for a blanket, it's fine. I used to do that with my garments also, and it worked great. That way I wasn't like fussing around with it. And with a blanket like this or a scrappy project like this, there's so much potential for there to be so many ends. And I knew I was gonna hate myself if I did that. So out of my love and care for future Eunice, I did the little, what is it called? Like a weft bind? Like, I don't know. I have to figure out what it is called. But I have also a reel on my Instagram for what that is called and how I do it. So I can maybe put up a video if I'm feeling up for it. I don't know. But you can also go to my Instagram at Therapy by Craft and look at that yourself. But that's how I did the color changes and it worked out beautifully. I loved it so much and I am beyond, like I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this project. And I would highly recommend it to you if you are looking for a scrappy project in this coming year. So like I said, I started this April 3rd of 2023. I finished it November 22nd of 2024. It totals 1,261 grams, which I love so much. That's like 12 skeins worth of yarn. Isn't that amazing? It turns out it took me 599 days to finish this. Like about 600 days to finish this blanket. And it would be less. It would have been less if I had figured out how to get over my mental block more quickly. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And that's it. Those are all of my finished projects. I have the 3 pairs of socks, sock number 46, number 47, and number 48 for the year. And then I have my blanket. And now let's talk about whips. There's so many. We can start though with the blanket because that's where my brain was at. I started another jelly roll blanket. It's another DK jelly roll blanket. And this time I decided to do it a little bit differently. First of all, I'm going to be using my non-superwash yarns. So I was watching Lisa of Knit All the Yarn podcast here on YouTube. She's also 72 Stitches on Instagram. And she is one of my new like yarny buddies. I don't actually know Lisa, if you consider me a friend, but surprise, you have a new friend because I consider her a friend at this point. But she is doing a cozy comfort throw. I think that's what it's called. It is a pattern by Molly of A Homespun House. And it is a beautifully squishy garter blanket, yeah, where you basically hold a neutral color all the way throughout. And then you end up with this like really beautiful blanket marled with a neutral color. It's meant for scraps, and I think it's actually meant for an advent, but you can also use scraps, and the neutral color that you're holding throughout the entirety of the blanket gives it kind of a cohesive look, which is very lovely. I saw Lisa's blanket and I wanted to make one myself because it just looks so pretty. But I know that if I have to cast on like 200 plus stitches and work 200 something stitches per row, I'm gonna wanna off myself. Like seriously, it's gonna make me so angry. I'm never gonna pick it up. I'm not gonna enjoy it. And yeah, it's just not gonna be an enjoyable project for me. I just know that about myself. But what I like about the project is that marled effect. So I decided to do what I know I love, which is the jelly roll blanket, but to do it in the style of the cozy comfort throw. And here's where I'm at. Isn't that pretty? I actually really like it a lot. But do you see what I mean? There's like a neutral color that's being held throughout this project. And each time I introduce a new color in here, the other color stays the same. So, you know, it's a neutral color. I am using as my like main color that I'm holding throughout a 4-ply by Woolly Knit. The color I think is called Mollison, but it's an oatmeal-y color. It's kind of, it has like grayish undertones, whatever that means. That sounds right though. And I have like a cone and a half of it, which ends up being about 500 to 700 grams of this yarn. So I have plenty to hold with my other non-superwash scraps. Let me see if I could show you. This is my current like box of non-superwash scraps, but these are just the scraps. I have other non-superwash yarns that I'm happy to like break into smaller cakes. I also have some leftovers that are more than 20 grams. These are all 20 grams or less, but I have other non-superwash yarns that are maybe like 50 grams, which I'm again happy to, you know, split up into smaller cakes. And I'm very pleased with how it's looking so far. I think I'm gonna make it a similar size, if not a little bit bigger than the one I made previously, like the one I just showed you guys. And I think this one's gonna be really warm and really squishy. I am so excited about this. I'm very, very pleased. And I'm also happy that I found a use for my non-superwash yarns because I haven't made socks with non-superwash yarn yet, and I don't know how it would hold up. I feel like it would felt since there's a lot of friction and a lot of heat in your foot. So yeah, I don't really know how I feel about making socks with my non-superwash yarns, but I have a lot of it because there was a time in my life where I wanted to make like really warm sweaters and garments that wasn't going to stretch out over time. So yes, this project is also worked up in US 6 or 4mm needles. Like I said, I have just my double points needle stoppers that I got from Buku, which is my local yarn store. I have a little stitch marker here from Hello Lavender, which is like this beautiful neutral flower thing. And this project is currently being held in my twice sheared sheep project bag. Isn't it beautiful? It's so pretty. It's flowers with a leather. Is this leather? Is it faux leather? I don't know, but it's beautiful. And then in the back there is a zipper pouch, and I think, yeah, no pouch in the front, on the inside, but yeah, I'm very happy with this project bag. It's like a leather handle thing too. Yes, that's whip number 1. I have my DK Coziest Memories blanket going on also, but I don't want to pull that out. So just trust me that I'm working on it, and maybe at the start of the new year, I'll give you guys an update on what my blanket is looking like, just so that we can have a baseline for the start of the year. But right now, I don't want to pull it out. I barely touched it anyway, so that's that. Now let's talk about my thousands of socks that I just can't seem to get a grip on. Yeah, I haven't finished a lot of socks, but I have so many ideas, and they're just like swimming around in my head. Let's get to it. I'm just gonna reach like for whatever's right here. This is my McMullen Fiber Co. Peach colorway, like peach colors Advent sock. I'm stuck. This is like, I've been working on it, but I need to figure something else out to do with this yarn because, yeah. But anyway, before I get to that, this is my project bag from Tanny. I finally found out how to say her name. She had a shop update recently, and I shared it on my Instagram stories, and she reached out to say thank you for sharing. And I asked her, I was like, oh, while you're here, first of all, I love your bags. They're amazing. I have one, and it is one of my favorites for sure. Secondly, how the heck do I pronounce your name? Because I've just been butchering it like crazy on this channel, and I don't want to do that anymore. And she laughed and was gracious and said, oh, it's like Tammy, but with an N. So Tanny, her name is Tanny. And now you guys can pronounce her name correctly also. But yeah, this is one of her vinyl bags. It has like a vinyl front, and the fabric is just so soft and so good. But here's where I'm at with these socks. This is the first sock. So I'm still on sock number 1, and I'm gonna have to rip this out. Not the whole thing, not the whole thing. But I am making this on US 1.5s or 2.5mm needles, because the yarn is a 2-ply yarn, which makes it a little bit more plump, and yeah, I like it. It's working out. The 1.5 needles are working out. I have this on 56 stitch count like as a 56 stitch count. And I tried to do the shadow wrap heel, but I tried it on my foot. It's not gonna work. I need to rip it out and do maybe a heel flap with a gusset for this one, because since the stitch count is smaller, it's just really tight. Maybe I should have just done 60 stitches instead of going all the way down to 56. But I just had a feeling that this was gonna get really loose because my other socks from McMullen Fiber Co. is kind of loose. So yeah, I'm just running into a lot of roadblocks with these socks. I want to make it and I want to finish it, but it's just, I don't know, I can just like hear it from the sound of my voice. It's giving me a lot of problems. The other thing I want to mention is that this project has been really teaching me a lot about the importance of having the right tools. So I religiously use the ChiaoGoo red lace needles, but I didn't have one for this project because I only have US 1s. I didn't have 1.5s. And there was a period where I was waiting for the 1.5s to come to Buku so that I can purchase them. And instead I was using my Addy ones. Now it's interesting because this says it's US 1, but it's a 2.5 millimeter instead of a 2.25 millimeter. But whatever. So I was trying these out. Nope. Did not like it. My hands didn't like it. I think it has something to do with the cord. It's a little more stiff. There seems to be more memory with it or something, but it was too sticky. It was too sticky. And when I'm doing magic loop, like I want it to be smooth. This, no, it was a no-go. Then I thought, oh, I have interchangeable needles in ChiaoGoo red lace, so maybe I use that instead. So I pulled it out. And do you see how like flexible, or do you even see how flexible these cords are? They're wonderful. It's like very flexible. But because they're interchangeable needles, my yarn kept getting stuck in this like neck thing right there. I don't know what to call it, but it kept getting stuck right there. So nope, no go. I didn't like that either. So I learned that what I really, really need is fixed ChiaoGoo red lace 32-inch needles in order for me to have the kind of sock knitting experience that I am used to and that doesn't hurt my hands. So if you guys have ever tried Magic Loop and vowed to never do it again, I beseech you to maybe consider the tools that you are using. Like, did you try it with a ChiaoGoo red lace fixed 32-inch cord though? Did you maybe? I don't know. And if you haven't, don't write it off yet, because maybe that will make the difference. This certainly made the difference for me. And working with this 2-ply yarn has actually been great because I have the right tools. Now, the sock itself is, I don't know, I'm running into issues with it. So this may be a long-term languishing, more experimental project, but I decided that I'm fine with that. That's all right. And it's being housed in this beautiful bag anyway. So yeah, that's that. Next. Oh, this is my cute kitty cat bag, box bag by A Needle Runs Through It. I purchased this at the Socal Fiber Festival and I love it. It's adorable. In it, well, it was housing this project. Let me show you. This one. Which is perfect, is it not? For this bag? It's so cute. Like the colors match perfectly. I love when that happens. This yarn is very special. It is a Dusty Yarn Co. yarn. My beautiful friend Audrey gifted this to me. She is learning how to do like variegated and speckled yarn, and this is one of her like experiment batches. and she brought it with her to the Socal Fiber Festival and offered me a skein. And I was like, ah! And I knew that Sam would really love it. So I picked this one, very, very colorful. And I started this. I think it's like the mermaid something. What is this called? I don't know, but it's a Summerly pattern. It's one of her, it's like her mermaid tail ones. And I think it's great with this yarn. It definitely gives me mermaidy vibes. And the pattern itself, though, I will say is so slow. It's really slow going. So even though I started it, and I think I got up to this point in a couple of days, that's pretty slow for me. Like if I'm monogamously working on socks, even pattern socks, in about a couple of days, I'm pretty much finishing up the like one of the socks for Sam's size. But for this one, it's a little slow. So I lost steam on this. But in here, I set aside some Knit Picks yarn and like the other half of the skein because I'm toying around with maybe making a pair of socks using this yarn for one of Sam's friends. Sam has commissioned me to make a pair of socks for one of her little friends. And normally I'd be like, ooh, no, maybe not. But this little girl, her mom is also a crafter. Like she crochets, and she's made some really cute amigurumi dolls for Sam for her birthday. And so she gets it. Like she knows how to take care of hand knit things or handmade things. She understands and appreciates the time that goes into making these things. Plus, she already gifted Sam like all these little dolls. And not that I feel like I need to pay back that gesture, but I just feel like this is a really knit-worthy family. So I was like, sure, I'll make her a pair of socks, especially since Sam was like, I don't know, really enthusiastic about sharing her joy of hand knit socks with this particular friend who happens to also understand the joy of handmade things. So I was like, yeah, Sam is already like noticing who's knit-worthy and who's not. But anyway, that's what this is housing. I have this whip here that's slow going, but it is what it is. So that's that. What is that? Number 3? Yes. Next, an update on my Zauberball socks being housed in yet another kitty cat bag, but this is the makeup bag from Amazon. So if you guys remember, this is sock number 1. Sock number 2 was stuck because I had gotten like to here and I didn't like this white, if you guys remember. So a lot of you guys suggested either like ripping it back or I don't know. I forgot what a lot of the suggestions were. But you guys were like, just do what you want. And I said, okay. So I did. I added the charcoal in. And now it feels a lot more enjoyable. Yes, I'm stuck on the heel. I need to finish the heel, but I think once the heel is done, then it'll be quick. But here's what it looks like. It's very mismatched. But whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna make it up to like here. I'll stop maybe 2 strips or whatever short, and maybe I'll do one of them in the cream or the ivory and one of them in this burgundy that I had up here. But that's the plan, and then I'm just gonna call it a day. I think I'm gonna wear them a lot despite them being so mismatched. But yeah, I'm making progress on this, guys. It's getting done. Once I pass the heel, then it'll just be smooth sailing from there. So I think it'll be fine. Oh yeah, here's the burgundy that I'm gonna add on to it. So that's my Zauberball Crazy sock. The solid colors are, I think, charcoal. They're all, sorry. The ivory, charcoal, and the burgundy are all opal solids. And then the Zauberball is the variegated colorway. All right, number 4. That was number 4. Number 5 is a half-finished object. Now that it's past December 8th, I can show you my opal advent and what I'm doing with it. Ta-da! Yay! This is colors 1 through 8, not in that order, but this sock has colors 1 through 8 from my Purple Circle Yarn Co.'s Opal Advent. And I only have one sock done, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. This one is US 1, 2.25 millimeters, 25 rounds, I think is what happened up here. And I'm doing basically like my color block socks. But since the repeats in the opal yarns are so crazy, I have two rounds of the ivory opal color in between each of the colors. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I cast it on with the ivory, then I did 25 rounds, and there's 2 rounds there to break up these 2 colorways. Then I did 2 rounds, then 23 rounds. 2 rounds of the ivory here, 23 rounds. 2 rounds, and then I think I did 10 or 15 before doing the heel, and then I finished out the 25 round section. 2 rounds, 23 rounds, etc., etc. So this has all 8 colors in it, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy, and I love that. The second sock, all I did, I literally just like cast on. That's all I did. And now I have to go in and like do all the crazy colors. This is being housed in yet another needle rinse through it box bag. This is a large one, and it's the like 80s cassette bag. And isn't this perfect also for this pair of socks? Looks good. It's cute. All right, next. So that's my opal advent socks. And speaking of advent, I am using a Homespun House's like Sunday Advent this year, and it's my first time ever using Homespun House. A Homespun House? Yeah. And that's great. I got her 75-25 sock base. And this is Chestnut Lodge. This was the first Sunday Advent. And I always admired her like speckly variegated colorways. I just really liked the look of them always. So to have some of my own, I could feel myself feeling really precious about it, but I wanted to just work it up. And what I decided to do, just in thinking about my sock mojo right now, just my mehness about things, and looking at my sock drawer and noticing what things are missing in there, I decided to do DK weight socks with my Homespun House Advent yarns. And voila! The first sock for this Advent is done. And look at it! It's so nice! I love it! I really like the colors. I'm holding it, I'm holding the yarn double with itself. And it's nice and thick and squishy, and I love it a lot. You can see my stitch markers on the back. I'm using the mini for the cuff and the toe, and then I decided to do a heel flap and gusset for the DK weight socks because I think the fit is a little better. I'm doing a shorter heel though, or a heel flap. I noticed that when I do the heel flap, like the traditional way, like the full length, there's too much fabric on my ankle area and I don't enjoy that. So I'm doing a shorter heel flap so that there's a shorter gusset and less fabric on this turn. That's a trick if you even need more fabric to make your heel flap a little bit longer than what the pattern calls for. And what you'll end up having is a longer gusset and therefore more fabric in this turn area. But I went the other way because I had too much fabric. But yeah, I did 15 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff. 1, 2, 3, 40 rounds for the leg before starting my heel flap. And then including the gusset, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 55 rounds for the foot before decreasing for the toe. I use US 3 2.75 millimeter needles for my DK weight socks, and I follow roughly the DK vanilla sock pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady, which, by the way, is not only a free pattern on Ravelry, but she has a full-length tutorial on YouTube. And fun fact, I sat and watched the entire 1 hour tutorial before I knit my first pair of socks. Like, I just needed to have a visual of what it looked like to knit a pair of socks before my hands could follow along. So many years ago, like a couple years ago, when I had never ever knit a single sock, but I was curious about it, that's the video I watched, and that's what tipped me over the edge to start knitting socks. And now I'm obsessed, as you guys know and have been following along. Yeah, but that is that. I have caked up the second Sunday's Advent for a homespun house. This one, I forget the colorway name, but it's so pretty. I'm kind of tempted to not make DK socks with this, because when I make DK weight socks, I use a lot of the yarn, like almost 90 grams for a pair. And I kind of want to have more leftover than that. Samantha saw this and was like, oh, I love this. This is my favorite, blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of want to make her a pair of socks with this also. But maybe I don't need to do that because she's getting some from Audrey's yarn and it looks kind of similar. This one's actually a little bit more, it's showing up more bright and almost like more confetti-like. And Sam likes that too. So I think it might be fine for me to just use this for my DK, to increase the number of DK weight socks I have. I think that'll be fine. That's the second Sunday Advent. And then this one is the third. I don't have the mini. I think my mini is like back there somewhere. This is the third one. And I love it. I love how the colors are different, but they still give festive vibes. I very much appreciate that. And guys, can you hear in my voice me like slowing down and like, oh, getting kind of tired? I mean, I've been talking at you for like 53 minutes, so it's really no wonder why I'm like, ugh. But let's power through. Oh, last but certainly not least are my Freckled Whimsy Christmas Advent socks. These are so cute. The colorway is called Merry and Bright. And at this point, I feel like everyone's kind of seen spoilers for it. So I'm not going to worry too much about spoiling it for you because I really don't think I'm spoiling anything for you. But I'm giving you a heads up anyway. It's being housed in my Needle Runs Through It Christmas box bag. Can you tell I really like her bags? They're just so convenient. And even though they have zippers, I flip them like this when I'm working with my yarn so that it doesn't get caught in the teeth. I know, I'm such a genius. You are so welcome. Yeah. But okay, these I'm working in tandem. One of them has a heel, one of them does not. Oh my gosh, it's so bright. It's making everything else in the frame very dark. Cute, right? So, so cute. And I love how she did this. So it's 24 colors. The repeat is 24 colors, but she basically did it so that there's like a more saturated or a darker version of a color, and then followed by a lighter version of the color, like a dark, bright, whatever, and then like a less saturated or lighter version of that color, so on and so forth. And so there's like cohesion still, and there's like a pattern, like a clear pattern to it. And it definitely gives this like twinkling lights vibe, if you will. Almost like, you know, when you look at a neon sign and there's like a fuzzy halo that is around that neon sign. I don't know, that's kind of the vibe that I'm picking up on when I'm working with this. And it's been perfect. I am not caught up, but it doesn't matter. It's easy to catch up. It's like the perfect pace, I think, for this time of the year if anyone is feeling really swamped with gift knitting, or I don't know. It's a really good pace because it's just 6 rounds per sock. So 12 rounds a day. That's totally doable. And even if you get behind, it's really easy to catch up. So I'm enjoying this. Oh, the mini that it came with is this like dark, like wine color almost. It feels more burgundy than red. But this does not show up in this pattern. So I appreciate that also. Yeah. I want to make, there's like more socks that I want to make. So even though my brain is feeling sluggish when it comes to my sock knitting, there's still other things that I want to do. For example, Sam is really into the Grinch, and I want to make her Grinch socks. Look at these colors. Wouldn't these make perfect Grinch socks? So I was thinking like maybe I could do a cuff and a couple of rounds in the red, and then do a strip of white, and then the rest of the sock can be in this like green chartreuse color. Wouldn't that be so cute? I wound up the yarn to do it, but you guys just saw how many socks I have on the needles right now. Like, no. And then I have the Grinch colorway from Mustache Yarns caked up and ready to go also. And it's sitting in my Dusty Yarn Co. bag with the needles and everything ready to go. But again, I just haven't really felt like picking it up. I don't know. So yeah, just lots of chaos, lots of chaos. But last thing that I want to share, well, second to last thing that I want to share is the giveaway and my experience at Socal Fiber Festival. It was so much fun. It was really so much fun being at Socal Fiber Festival. It was like the weekend before Thanksgiving here in the States, and the festival goes Saturday and Sunday. And I went both days this year. Last year, I think I just went on Saturday, but I heard that Sunday is a little bit more chill. So I decided to go both days this year, and they were absolutely right. Sunday was kind of chaotic. It was a lot. We were literally shoulder to shoulder for a couple of hours there. But it was still a lot of fun looking at the different booths. I think there's just like an energy that comes with being around like-minded people who love the same things as you, people who geek out about the same things as you, where you're in a space where all of the things that you love and all of the things that are related to the things that you love have all come together in one place for you to go crazy and to nerd out about to your heart's desire. And that's exactly what I did. And so it was really fun. I was on the lookout mostly for minis. I want to do more scrappy things next year. I want to do more colorful socks. So minis is what I was going for, and I will show you what it is that I got. But I was also looking to kind of give back to the channel and to do a thank you to all of you. So I picked up just some notions, some little things that I thought maybe you guys would enjoy. And let me show you what it is that I got. So I have a friend named Stephanie, and she is the dyer and owner of Jam Jar Yarns. And she made this cute little like yarn binder, and it has little sheep that way and hearts on this thing, and you can actually it kind of comes off, so when I ship it, it'll come like that, but you just click it on the bottom. It says Jam Jar, and it comes with this fabric handle that she sewed herself, and then you can just walk and knit your socks or whatever it is that you want to do. So this will be included in the giveaway. I also included a pair of my very, very favorite ChiaoGoo red lace 32-inch needles. It's my favorite, and it's my favorite for a reason. And if any of you guys have not used it before, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to try it out, or at least one of you guys an opportunity to try it out. So the needles will be a part of that giveaway. And I also got a sock sizing ruler. I love this. And let me show you the one that I have. I'm not going to take this one out, but I have two myself. And it looks like this, and it's kind of made in the style of a slap bracelet. Like, you know, I don't ever do that, but my daughter likes to do that. And it comes with different like sizes depending on what your shoe size is. Now, unfortunately, this is in US shoe sizes. So if you have, or if you're like more comfortable using like European sizes, you might have to do a bit of a conversion. But I love that it has kids, women's, and men's sizes on this ruler. And this has been a lifesaver for me when I'm making socks as gifts. It's really easy to use. She has a video on her Instagram for like how to use this, and I love it. So I wanted to give one to you guys as well. So that's what I want to do a giveaway for. I'm thinking about maybe also including yarn, but I don't know what yet. That'll just have to be a surprise. But one of you guys, I would like to give these to one of you. The giveaway will be for US viewers. Unfortunately, it will have to be limited to US viewers. I'm so sorry. But if you are interested in winning these, plus some other goodies that I have yet to curate, please comment down below with the hashtag #ThankYou2024. That way it'll alert me that you are interested in the giveaway. Again, it's just hashtag #ThankYou2024, and I will go through. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I want this to go to a subscriber because you guys have been great. And in my next episode, which will probably be at the top of the year, I will go ahead and pull a name from one of the commenters. And I will never be reaching out to you in the comments or anything like that. You will see an announcement on the video itself at the next episode. So yeah, that's my little giveaway announcement. And then while we're on the topic of Socal Fiber Fair, I picked those up, but also I got some like minis. I'll go through them real fast. It's gonna crinkle, but it is what it is. This is from Super Glow. It's the Chappelle Rowan mini set. And it was gorgeous. I was looking through her colorways and her minis, and I think there was an option for you to just pick a couple, like she sold them individually. But then I saw the pack and I'm like, I need the whole thing. I'm just gonna take the whole thing. So that's that. I also got a set from, what is it? Gems Luxe Fiber. I saw them last year during the Socal Fiber Fest, and I was oohing and awing at all of their minis and their mini sets, but I didn't get any last year. But this year I was determined to get a set. She does yarn colorways based on like gemstones and Greek mythology. And the one that I got is the heck, I don't know. I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself. So I'm just gonna show you. That's the collection. And it's on her Luxe sock base, which is a 4-ply. 75 superwash, 25 nylon base. I'm very happy with it. I was like going back and forth between like 3 or 4 different mini sets, but I'm glad I got this one. This is from Seismic Yarns. Their yarn is super cool. They have, ooh, can barely see. Oh, there we go. They have yarns that pretty much glow in the dark. They have a black light that they'll like, I mean, I feel like you guys probably know who they are, but they have a black light that they just shine over their yarn and you can see just how it glows, like literally glows. And I loved the different speckles that were in her gray base. It reminded me a lot of Lolo did its like hippo yarns, but I liked having this in a mini set, and I'm excited to make socks with these. I think it'll be really fun. And then the last mini set that I got was from Magic Land Yarn. They are based in Southern California. And I got, is this like a princess color? Like a, oh, it's called the Mini Skein. Oh, that's so cute. Mini. Mini, like Minnie Mouse, Mini Skein bundle. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, this is for Sam. Sam's gonna love it. And lo and behold, when she saw it, she went nuts and immediately claimed it for herself. But I was gonna give it to her anyway, so, you know, it's all good. While I was at Magic Land, I also saw these stitch markers that literally had me bent over their table in laughter. I just couldn't stop. It tickled me to no end to see these stitch markers. And I have some of them in projects already, so I won't be able to show you all of them, but they are like, do you see Wendy there? Oh, it's blowing out so much. Look at her little face. She's like, and her bulgy little eyes. This is Tinkerbell. Oh, come on. Lighting. It is so funny. I was dying. I bought Wendy on Saturday, and I came home and I was thinking about all the other ones, and so I had to go back and get some more. This is Anna from Frozen. Oh, it doesn't want to focus. Look at their faces. They're so derpy. Elsa is already on one of Sam's projects, or her only project. She's claimed Elsa. She's in an Elsa phase right now. I love them so much. I geeked out. Like, I had no shame about my utter delight over these stitch markers. And so the lady, the girl who like owns Magic Land Yarns, I guess it's her sister that makes these stitch markers. And she was telling me, like the owner was telling me that her sister's sense of humor is like really goofy, and she was like, I don't know if people are gonna get it, but you know, I'm gonna make them anyway. And the owner was looking at me like, okay, you get it. I'm gonna tell my sister that you totally get it. I'm like, I really do. This is so funny. And I was telling everyone, and I mean everyone, anyone who would listen, like, go check out Magic Land because they have the best stitch markers. And on that note, actually, I think that the best part, I mean, there's a couple of parts that just is going to be a takeaway for me for the Fiber Festival, but Sunday was a lot more chill. And there were a handful of you guys who actually came up to me to say hello. And that was amazing. Like, you guys totally made my entire weekend. I can't tell you how many times I told people, like, stop it, because they'd be like, oh my gosh, I love your channel, and I'm like, stop, like, shut up. But everyone was so kind and so receptive, and I just was so filled with, I don't know, warmth and affection for our community. Like, dang, you guys are amazing. And I realized that what I hoped from those interactions is that people would walk away thinking to themselves, like, oh my God, Eunice is exactly how she seems in her videos. Like, that would be the biggest compliment for me. Now, obviously, I show up in different ways in different places because I am a complex and sacred human being. But in this space anyway, I try to be as authentic as possible when I'm talking to you here on this channel, when I, post about my life and just kind of where I'm at on my Instagram posts. I try to be real and I try to be authentic with you all. And, yeah, there's a little bit of organization, there's a little bit of thought that goes into some of these things, but a lot of the times I just want to show up as a fellow crafter and as a fellow yarn nerd and craft enthusiast. And I think that meeting you guys and talking with you guys and geeking out with you guys and just being my weird little self was so enjoyable for me. And I hope that you guys enjoy me too, and that's why you're here. So if you guys are one of the 5-ish like people who said hello to me at the Yarn Festival, do you mind just commenting and just letting me know that you're here and hello and thank you? And yeah, I'm just very curious to know if you felt like what you saw here is what you got at the festival. Because that, I don't know, I feel like that's the biggest compliment. So anyway, I think that's it. We made it. Like, it took over an hour, but we did it, you guys. We did it. How are you? Did you like finish a whole sock? Ooh. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for not just joining me here on this channel right now, but like sticking with me this year. It was definitely a doozy of a year, but you guys have been amazing to me. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, the great rest of the week, that the year is kind to you at this tail end. And if not, y'all, we get a fresh start in 2025. And I really look forward to seeing you guys then. So yeah, I hope you have a great one. Bye.
Baby, you give me